Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. The UCF Knights continue the traction in the 2024 high school recruiting trail, landing another commitment from four-star athlete Kylan Fox, 6'4", 208 pounds. This is a guy that could play edge if he wanted to and would be a phenomenal edge rusher. It sounds like he's going to play tight end. And the skill set that Kylan Fox brings as a tight end going 6'4", 208 pounds, did some reading on him, clocked 20 miles per hour on the MPH, on the GPS systems during his high school spring practices. This is a special caliber athlete. And yes, Kylan Fox is a phenomenal talent to have, but you're starting to see what we've talked about with UCF now going into a Power 5 conference. They're having a little bit more pull on the recruiting trail, right? Not much else has changed, right? This has been a Power 5 culture, Power 5 facilities, Power 5 play on the field. Now they got the Power 5 logo, and I think that really helps and resonates with these kids coming out of high school, seeing UCF as a program where they're going to be able to go and play big-time football. Guys like Stacey Gage, Walt Claire Flynn committing to UCF, and now Kylan Fox kind of symbolize this new brand of UCF. And, man, if you're a UCF fan, you have to be just so excited about what this program can be in a couple of years. When they get a couple more recruiting classes and recruiting cycles in, kind of landing this top talent, it's going to be a very, very fun program to watch. Now, before we get into it again, just want to say thank you to you guys, and especially the UCF fans. Like, if you're checking us out July 4th, really appreciate you rocking with us. Even if you're checking us out July 5th or 6th, you guys have been awesome. We talked Walt Claire Flynn, we talked Stacey Gage, and the support, the engagement, and just like the optimism around this program has been a blast to talk about. So if you guys do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Again, the support from the UCF fans has been absolutely awesome. I've enjoyed talking with you guys in the comment section, so appreciate you guys rocking with the boys. Let's get into Kylan Fox, and again, symbolizing the recruiting win, right? This was a top priority for Florida State. This was a top priority for the Georgia Bulldogs. And Gus Malzahn and the UCF Knights able to land one of the more elite athletes that you see across the country. Now, getting into what he's going to bring to this program, like 6'4", 208 pounds, absolutely flies. He's probably going to play tight end, but he's probably the best. And getting into the film here, and I kind of watched this yesterday night when I knew he was committing. This is such a fun player to watch. He is just the definition of a matchup nightmare, right? He's a little too big for these cornerbacks to deal with, and quite frankly, faster than a lot of these guys. And he's just too fast for linebackers to deal with him. You're seeing him stretch the field vertically, outrun everyone on the field for a touchdown there. But he's also a guy that, I mean, if he wants to play on the defensive side of the football, he's going to be dominant. Like length, get off, closing speed. He checks all the boxes too. I'm interested to see what UCF wants to do with him again. It sounds like he'll be a tight end, and you're looking at not just a tight end, you're looking at just an offensive playmaker, a guy that probably is going to be splitting out wide more. Now, here's another thing that I want to kind of emphasize, especially with UCF's offense where they want to get their players the football in space. Having wide receivers and tight ends who can block in space and on the perimeter is massive. And Kylan Fox, although being a four-star like freak athlete, also gets it done and is a very willing blocker on the perimeter as well. And he's got kind of that dog in him where he wants to just run people over. Michigan's done a really good job. Michigan's my team, if you guys didn't know. Michigan not necessarily working the vertical game that much, but they asked their wide receivers to block in a big way. And Kylan Fox is a guy that you're going to feel really comfortable if you're going to ask him to block on a bubble screen. You're going to ask him to pull around and block on the perimeter and seal an edge. He can certainly do that. And so you're getting a guy that's going to be just a matchup nightmare in terms of the passing game, a guy that's a very, very willing blocker. And here you go again, just using that vertical speed, eats up that nickel corner, and then goes up and makes a play. Played basketball in his middle school career, so you see the ball skills as well in terms of going up and making plays. This is a guy that you have to be so excited for UCF. Not only are you getting a great player, but you're beating out those top programs that you've kind of been probably playing second fiddle to in terms of recruiting. Now you're seeing them go toe-to-toe and grabbing these guys and taking a look at the class they have. This will be their 10th commitment. They'll have a top 50 class with only 10 commits, and it really only seems to be heating up. Like the traction that you see for UCF on the recruiting trail is massive, right? Walt Claire Flynn Jr., a guy Georgia wanted, a guy the Gators wanted. He ends up going to UCF. Stacey Gage, all three of those power Florida schools in Miami, Florida, and Florida State all wanted him, all offered him, all had him on visits. Stacey Gage ends up going to UCF. And then you take a look at what this class could look like and some other targets they're trending for. Artavius Jones. It seems like that's a battle between Miami and UCF. Brandon Jacob, the local kid from Orlando, trending that's wanted by all these schools in Florida. He's also trending to UCF. And you take a look at Eddie Pierre-Louise and Walt Claire Flynn, you're looking at one of the more dominant interior offensive line classes in this 2024 class. Now you add Kylan Fox to the mix. You're starting to see this class become special. And what's even more exciting is we've talked about what we think UCF is going to look like in the Big 12. This is probably the team out of the four newcomers of the Big 12. UCF is probably the team that you feel most confident about. I think they're the most talented roster going into the Big 12. I think they have great quarterback play in John Royce Plumlee, who is really just an electric playmaker. Javon Baker, Kobe Hudson, like they got massive playmakers on the outside, a solid defense returning a lot. This is a team that's going to win immediately in the Big 12. If you can get some of these guys on campus for some Big 12 games, the bounce house is rocking. I just see this class already having a phenomenal summer in terms of guys like Stacey Gage, Walt Claire Flynn, Kylan Fox committing. But you get some of these guys on campus in the bounce house for a Big 12 game, and these players, these kids in high school get to see what UCF's about and as a Power 5 team. I think the recruiting is only going to get better and catch more of these attention for these young players. And again, circling back and kind of rounding out what we've talked about, UCF has had Power 5 level play. They've had Power 5 level facilities. They've had Power 5 level culture. And they're located in the best spot in the country in terms of recruiting. Like the state of Florida, loaded with talent. There's no reason that UCF can't be like a premier college football program in the next couple of years in terms of the talent they're going to be able to get in terms of the level of play they're going to be able to put on the field. And again, you have the best head coach in Gus Malzahn to kind of carry you and usher you into this Big 12 conference because he's done it before. Auburn is one of the premier programs in the country. It's one of the bluest of bloods. It's a massive program, and he did a phenomenal job at Auburn. Like, albeit maybe couldn't beat Alabama, but you look at Auburn under Gus Malzahn, he did a phenomenal job. And now he's doing a phenomenal job at UCF. He's an experienced coach that's run a Power 5 program before. I think he's the perfect coach to kind of usher this in. And you can't deny that this UCF program is just one of the coolest programs out there right now. With the Space U, it seems like all these kids out of high school are absolutely loving it. The UCF culture is absolutely buzzing. This is a program that you have to be so excited for in the future. Again, I'm excited to talk more UCF. I'm excited to see what they can do in the Big 12 this season. Appreciate you guys rocking with the fellas. Want to keep it short. Want you guys to enjoy your July 4th holiday. But appreciate you guys checking us out. If you do enjoy the content, again, consider subscribing to the channel. We appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to y'all later.